Finished a Think Then session. So Think Then's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I tend to want to hop on and do post after we're done because just being in the group gets me to thinking so much about just the different things that are not just presented within the group, but the patterns of challenges that seem to occur within my whole practice with my clients and things that I observe in my groups that I run, and especially the FRL Diva Slim Down patterns of behavior that I observe there. And good morning. And so what I was wanting to do is just share a little bit from this morning session and share something from my website. I do want to encourage you to go to my website. It is www.frlwithtiffany.com. Go to the page that says compulsive eating. And what I want you to do there's a chart. And I want you to pay attention to that chart and the breakdown. And I'm doing something here. Give me just a second. Notifying just a few people so that they know that I'm doing this. I want you to look at that compulsive eating chart. And it's fantastic because what it does is it looks at, and I use this in my practice constantly, are you a normal eater? Are you an emotional eater? Are you a food addict? Okay, and boy, when I use that addict word when it comes to food, it makes people feel a little uncomfortable, and I understand that because I think it's an unusual thing to be saying when it comes to food, because people feel like, well, I just like to eat. You know, maybe I'm just a foodie, or maybe I'm just an emotional eater. I eat because I'm stressed out. But there are different categories, and I'm trained as an eating disorder therapist. I'm trained very thoroughly to treat binge eating disorder and bulimia, compulsive eating, all those things. However, I also believe in food addiction, and you can see this with my FRL Diva Slim Down, the meal plan that I run, that it eliminates what I have identified as trigger foods, problematic foods for people. Very similar to what you would be experiencing with the Whole30, is it shuts down and eliminates certain foods. And I believe in doing that because I believe certain foods are problematic, and I embrace that. This is a lifestyle that I adopted. I was telling them in the Think Then group this morning, I adopted years ago. It's probably been a decade now of me pulling out certain foods that I didn't seem to manage very well. And I went completely abstinent around certain foods probably roughly 4 to 5 years ago, where I stopped saying, I can manage these foods. I can have these foods when I have my cheat meal. I can have these foods on my cheat day or whatever, because for me, what that became, especially when I was doing all my fitness shows and all that, was a cheat meal became a cheat couple of meals, became a cheat day, became a cheat weekend. And then I think what a lot of us experience is we spend the whole week trying to offset what we did over the weekend, because you can take in so many calories. You can end up really binging, you know? And I was like, this isn't, I call myself a therapist and I treat eating disorders, right? This isn't healthy behavior. And I started to learn that there is food addiction, that food addiction is real, and there are groups of therapists who are recovered food addicts who treat food addiction with their clients. Now, do I think I'm addicted? Do I have a massive problem? Do I think clients are addicted to food? What will happen is certain foods are really problematic for certain people. So sugar is very addictive, and it's not a judgment. It's about what it does to your brain. So it lights your brain up the way that certain drugs and other chemicals can light your brain up, and it makes you compulsively have a drive to just keep having more of it, even when you know it's sabotaging your weight loss goals, even though you know it gives you a headache, even if you know it feels bad, you do it anyway. You have that craving, you have that compulsion. Right, yes, so many people do that. The cheat day just gets away from them. And now you have to adopt a healthy lifestyle, though, as opposed to a cheating lifestyle, yes. And so I think one of the things we were talking about this morning is some people will be, and again, if you just jumped on, I was having people go to my website to this page that says compulsive eating. It's FRL with Tiffany. And it says, are you a normal eater, emotional eater, or food addict? And it's unusual unusual that as a therapist, I believe in food addiction, and I welcome people into my practice to treat food addiction. And I do believe in abstinence around certain foods, and that some substances cannot be managed for certain people. And we were talking about this idea that occurs of, I can't give this food up forever. That's like the thing that I hear over and over from people when they first jump on the Afro Diva Slim Down, or I say, you know what, I think you're addicted and we're gonna have to box this food out, you're gonna have to be abstinent, is I can't do this forever. And so when you've heard of 12-step, right, when it comes to alcoholism, you've heard one day at a time. And the reason for that is it's very overwhelming to think that for the rest of your life, you are making this decision that you can't have something. And you don't do it that way. Okay, so two things I want you to take from this. If you think you have a substance that's unmanageable for you, you don't do it this way. You don't say, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. You do it one moment, one day at a time. You say, I'm just not going to have sugar at breakfast. I'm just not going to have sugar at lunch. I'm just not going to have sugar at dinner. Ha, I did it. Okay. You take it one meal at a time. The other thing I want you to hear me say, and I said this in group this morning, is you're seeing this from the side of the addiction. So you're seeing this from the side of this part of you that's caught up in the compulsion of wanting this substance. So it may not be sugar, it may be fried salty foods, right? Everybody has a different thing, but you're seeing it from this addicted perspective. When you get to the other side and you stay on the other side, and it's years being into a certain lifestyle, you don't have thoughts like that. You don't say, boy, I really want this thing and I can't believe I can't have this thing. It becomes more effortless to do that. So when you're looking at, I'm making this decision for the rest of my life, right? You're thinking about it from this driven, compulsive part. When you get over here and you're like off your substance, you're not eating that food anymore, it doesn't feel like that. You don't have those thoughts. And with my programs, the Afro Diva Slim Down and Eat Fit and all the things I do, we have our protein bars that we've taken the sugar out of and we've removed a lot of things from, because I know that people need what's called a lateral shift. We have the cakes because people need a lateral shift. We make those with coconut flour and almond flour. You need something to replace those things that you gave up with so that your life doesn't feel like deprivation. We make cauliflower pizza now because we gave up regular flour, like wheat flour. So that's part of what we do on the Slim Down. So we have to replace that. So we have cauliflower pizza that's made with a dairy-free cheese. We are happy campers. I have learned how to hook up this pizza. So you have to think about, okay, well, on the other side, I'm going to figure out a new way to make my birthday cake, right? So I can still have cake. I just have to have a cake that's on program. I want to challenge you. If you think that you're an emotional eater, you think you're a food addict, figure out, there's a book, The Beck Diet Solution. That's a great book for giving you the behaviors that you need to be successful. The Beck Diet Solution. If you think you're an emotional eater, you're going to have to learn how to reprogram how you respond to your feelings, okay? If you are a food addict, you are also an emotional eater. That is part of what you're dealing with, as well as you are physically driven to want certain foods, and you're going to have to be abstinent from certain foods and allow your body to detox. And then from there, decide what are you going to keep out of your diet. I want you to really consider some of what I've shared today. If you want more resources for emotional eating, there's lots of good stuff out there. I'm happy to put something underneath this post. But wanted to hop on and share. I hope this has been helpful. I will not hold you up. I know people are getting ready for work this morning. So you stay fierce, you stay fabulous, but more importantly, you stay fit for life. And I will see you soon.